let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Welcome to Justice for Veterans. My name is David Standridge. I'm your host. I'm a licensed attorney in the state of New Mexico, and I've been practicing law since 1996. I am the managing attorney at the Justice Legal Group, and my practice focuses primarily on the area of veterans' disability benefits. We're excited to have you with us today. I am an accredited representative with the Veterans Administration, and I am also licensed before the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. I want to tell you a little bit about today's show. The Justice for Veterans show is hopefully going to accomplish three things. One, we want to educate the public about veterans' disability issues. Two, we want to spotlight veterans and thank them for their service. And three, we want to provide engaging interviews to inform the public about veterans' issues. We do this show because we believe that veterans deserve justice. We do this show because they serve to protect us, and now it's our turn to protect them. On every show, we like to address some legal issues that the veterans community may be facing in terms of their disability issues. And on today's show, I want to talk briefly about the types of disability claims that we're seeing at our law firm, the Justice Legal Group. As mentioned prior, I am an accredited representative with the Veterans Administration and also licensed before the highest court in the Veterans Administration, which is called the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims. And as a result of being involved in those kind of disability avenues, we see a lot of different types of disability. And sometimes the disabilities can range from soldiers who are actually shot at during actual combat situation and maybe receives a shrapnel wound or a back injury from jumping out of an airplane. But oftentimes people believe that only the types of disabilities associated with combat are the kinds of disabilities that can receive disability benefits, and that's not true. For example, we also have represented numerous people who've been involved with situations giving rise to maybe them tweaking their knee because they played basketball while they were in service. Or we've seen people who've had post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of a sexual assault that may have occurred while they were in service. The point that I'm making is that veterans' disability benefits can be tied to any in-service sort of disability, any in-service connection that we can make with regards to disability claims. And so I tell that to people because oftentimes veterans believe they're limited in what they can do based upon their combat or lack of combat experience, and that's just not true. So if you or somebody you know has been involved in some sort of service-connected disability, have them give us a call. You can find out more information by emailing us at info@justicelegalgroup.com or calling us at 505-880-8737. And now we want to turn our attention and salute a veteran and thank them for their service. In this segment, we want to take the time to recognize a veteran and salute that veteran and thank them for what they've done. In this show, we want to give a particular salute to Charles A. Navarro. Charles A. Navarro. Charles Navarro served in the Army from 1975 to 1983. He was stationed in Fort Polk and Fort Bragg. In the military, he served as a combat radar air traffic controller, and later he served as a radar air traffic controller instructor. He went on to engineering school, and Charles also won Soldier of the Year award and had the opportunity to meet General Omar Bradley, who was a 5-star general from World War II. Currently, Charles Navarro lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was honorably discharged. And so with that, we want to tell Charles Navarro, this salute is brought to you today from your loving daughter, Amanda Navarro. If you have a veteran that you would like to honor with a salute, then email us at info@justicelegalgroup.com. Give us your name, and we will contact you with the information we need to say thank you to that special veteran in your life for what they did for us and for our great country. Hi, I'm David Standridge from the Justice Legal Group. Our firm represents veterans and helps them obtain benefits in their disability cases before the Veterans Administration. We believe that you worked hard to protect our nation, and we want to work hard to protect you. Welcome back to Justice for Veterans. And today we have a special guest with us by the name of Corby Pucket. Corby is a case manager at the Justice Legal Group, where she works on veterans' disability cases. And today we're going to speak to Corby about her work in the area of veterans' disability law and veterans' disability benefits. So we want to turn our attention and welcome our special guest, Corby Pucket. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And so, as I mentioned, you work as a case manager. How long have you been working with the Justice Legal Group?
Well, let's see, I've been there for over a year.
And in your capacity, tell the audience, what do you do as a case manager?
As a case manager, it's basically how it sounds, is I manage the cases. Veterans will call in and our receptionist will give me the phone, and I basically just do a little intake over the phone, ask them questions, make sure that we are able to help them, because that's the biggest part, is to know that we can. And once I know that we can help them, I set them up with an appointment to talk to the attorney.
All right. Now, Corby, I want to ask you some details about that, but before we do, can you tell our audience a little bit about your legal background?
Let's see, I've been a case manager / paralegal for 5 years. I've worked in family law, I've worked in personal injury, I've worked in med mal, I've done criminal, some civil, and now I'm blessed to be able to do veterans affairs.
Good. Are you a veteran yourself?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have veterans in your family?
Yes, sir. My grandfather served in World War II.
World War II. Do you know where at?
He got shot in France. That's about all I know.
Wow.
He was Army infantry.
That's remarkable. So, do you enjoy working on veterans' disability cases?
It is my favorite area. I would say out of all the areas that I've practiced and have had the chance to work with, veterans disability is definitely my all-time favorite.
Now, why would you say that veterans disability benefits is your favorite area of law to work in?
Because of the people.
What do you mean?
Personal injury, people get in car accidents all the time, and it's sad, and it's heart-wrenching at times, but there's something about the veterans that just, they get to your heart. I can probably tell you a little bit something about every veteran that we work with. They're just, they're just great people. They have a story to tell. They just want somebody to listen, and they're just real touching. It's definitely warming to the heart, and to be able to help them, it makes you feel better. You can actually go home at night and just kind of feel good about what you do. So,
a soft spot in your heart for veterans, right?
I do.
And it's very rewarding as well.
It is, and they're, like I said, they're just very gracious people. They're happy for anything that you can give them.
Now, in one of our prior shows, we spoke with an individual who was involved in the veterans community, and he spoke about how often veterans have difficulty finding out what benefits they have available to them. Do you find that to be a particular problem with the veterans that you work with as well?
That is a big problem. There's so much information out there. The internet you can always find an answer to anything on the internet. A lot of our vets they've gone to other places, they've gone to service groups and stuff, and they've been told that they can only max out at like 50% for something. Well, we know that that's not true. So they're getting this information that's kind of leading them down the wrong path, which discourages them. And then when they come to us, we get to tell them, hey, that's not true. You actually can be entitled to this or that. And after their frustrations of what they've been through, they start getting excited. They start getting a little bit more hope that, wow, you really do know what you're talking about and you really can help me. And so that's the biggest thing, is getting them to know that they do have options out there and they're not doom and gloom, and that you really can help them. And I think that's what they're looking for. It's just somebody to kind of lead them down the right path instead of going kind of down this one.
Now, you mentioned something pretty interesting there. You said you give them hope. Do you find in your experience with the veterans that you've worked with that they have a sense of hopelessness? Definitely.
And going through this process, and every day I learn something new, is the problem that you see with these guys is it's just year after year after year. And they don't realize that if they miss that deadline, they have to start the whole process over again. And so they put their trust into an organization or a group of people that not only has this one person, but they have hundreds of other people that they're trying to help. And they get kind of lost in the shuffle. They're a number, they're not a name. When they call us and we get to deal with them, they become, they're not my cases, but they're my people. And it's rewarding to be able to actually know their name, and they like that. And they can call you, and they can call me, and they say, we have one that just called and said, I may be homeless. Well, that's outside of the disability, but me and the other man that I work with who is a veteran got him an application for another service group that could help him find a home. And so it's providing them with this somebody cares, just this personal touch to it, that you put that hope back into them. Because the one thing that we never do is we never try to give them hope that we know that's not there. We won't ever make a promise that we can't keep, and we definitely don't promise anything that the veteran, is looking outside of.
A promise that you can't keep. That's a great saying, because today in our society, it seems that our United States government is making promises that it can't keep, and I think that's reflective by the amount of outstanding disability cases that are currently in the system and not getting the justice that they deserve. So, Corby, with that, let me ask you, how is the work that you do in helping veterans with their disability claims, how is it different than what service organizations like the DAV or the Order of the Purple Cross, how's it different from what they do?
Well, I think the biggest thing that's different is, one, they definitely serve their purpose, and they're an organization that is there for the vets. I'll never say that, but the difference is that we're more personable, I guess you can say. And with the attorney working the case, the attorney definitely knows the legal standpoints behind it. And you have thousands of people that go to the DAV because it's what they know. I don't think they're educated, and they know that there's other options out there for these people. And so when they do find this option, which is us, the Justice Legal Group, it's different because, one, like I said, they become a person. And we have that personal contact with them. We're able to help them more. I'm able to call over at the VA and just say, look, I've got this guy. We're in desperate need. What can you do for me? Can I get a hearing, please? Can I do anything for this person? And I can call that person back. I don't have hundreds of people that I'm trying to deal with. I've got these people that, like I said, take a personal liking to me, and I really enjoy them. And I can call them up and say, look, this is where we're at. We can't, we're waiting for this. We're trying to do this. And so that's the difference between the service connect orders is all of our people have I would say 99% of them have gone to a service organization first. And they come to us because they are so frustrated with the service organization. Well, he said that he was going to do that. He promised me that he could do that. And they don't follow through. And all these vets are looking for is somebody to be their advocate. Don't tell them what they want to hear. Just be their advocate and do what you promise them. And that's all they want. They just want somebody to care for them. And that's what we do at Justice Legal Group. We care for our vets. We laugh with them, we talk with them, we've cried with them, we have taken their calls 20 times a day. I have been yelled at by them, and then the next day they turn around and it's, oh, sweetie and honey, and I don't think you get that with the DAV. They have way too much on their plate and way too many things to do, as to where we focus on their disability and getting them that help.
Now, you said something that I find to be very interesting. You said that you have called the VA and begged and said things. I mean, do you have that kind of relationship with the folks who work at the VA?
Yes, unfortunately, one of the VA people down there knows me very well. I call and he says, "Hey, what can I do for you?" That's the other part of this, is just making personal contacts, not only with our vets, but with the people that have to deal with the Veterans Affairs. We know people down in the appeals department. They are amazing people. They try so hard to do what they can for our vets. And New Mexico, as you know, right now is kind of taking a step back because our office, I guess, is efficient enough that they're trying to do stuff for everybody else, but I can call down there and I can get case files that we can review right then and there because they know us. We walk in, they know us by name. They're more willing to help us because they know that what we're doing is what we're helping the vets as well. And so it's just nice to build those personal relationships because, like I said, I have had 2 cases where they were just they were on the bottom. They lost all hope. And because of a person down at the Veterans Affairs and me talking, we got them a hearing within 30 days. And now you would have thought I gave them $1 million just because they got a hearing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that's what you're there to do, is to serve the veterans and to help them out with their claims. So let me shift your focus real quick. Sure. Can you tell the audience and I know this is tough to do, but try to give us a standard, an idea of what a basic case looks like from the time they call you to the time you start working on it. What are the things that you do to help out veterans on a particular basis?
Sure. So when the veteran first comes in, we review their case. The attorney looks at the denial letter and he'll see what we can do. If you're maxed out with tinnitus at 10%, there's not a lot we can do there. We see what path we need to go down. Is the veteran service connected? Is he not? And if he's not, how do we get him service connected? What current diagnosis? Does he have a current diagnosis? And so we literally sat there and put out a game plan for this vet of, okay, so now we'll get your notice of disagreement sent out. We will send it to the BVA in Washington. We'll send it to the regional. Once we do that, we'll get them set up with, if they need to see a doctor, we work with teams of doctors that are compassionate and caring for our vets as well. They want to help them as well. So we get them set up with doctor's appointments. They see the attorney at least 2 or 3 times to get ready for everything. Their hearings, once they're hearing, and that's the sad part, is we have to kind of tell them it's going to be a while for the hearing. And at this point, by the time they get to us, they don't really care. Just that somebody's doing something for them. We get them ready for their hearings. We get them, okay, we need this, we need that. We give them homework, basically, of stuff that they can do to help their case, to help make it stronger and more presentable. The VA has thousands and thousands of cases that they don't have the time to go through with a fine-tooth comb to look through every record, as to where we can, and we can find that little needle in the haystack that's going to get the veteran the disability that they deserve. So it's just about that, and making sure to keep in contact with the vet, and as soon as the hearing goes, they get another appointment with the attorney to make sure that they know what to expect so they're not going in there blind, and then we just wait for the hearing.
So I heard you say that you review records from the VA, correct?
Yes, sir.
I heard you say that you help the veteran in terms of their relationship with doctors.
Yes.
You also prepare the paperwork that's necessary for the Veterans Administration.
Yes.
And are there hearings that are involved with this also?
There are hearings, and once we get that hearing date, the attorney sits there about a week before, meets with the vet for over an hour, goes through the vet, lets the vet know this is what you're going to expect. This is what we need to get what you need. So it's basically you just prep the person so they know, so they're not going in there blindly. Because a lot of these times, these vets do try to do this on their own, and it's a disaster because they don't know what the VA's looking for, and they want to tell them their story, and the Veterans Affairs don't have a lot of time to listen to the stories like we do. And so it's just getting them ready so they know what to expect.
Sure. So in terms of the work that you're doing to help veterans with their disability claims, I know that you said you're based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but do you handle cases outside of Albuquerque?
Of course, we can handle cases anywhere, nationwide. We've had calls and people from Tennessee, from California, from Las Vegas, Nevada, Minnesota, Texas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. We're definitely set up and capable of being able to help anybody from anywhere. And that's what I would like to think is to make sure that we're out there for everybody.
So even if a veteran is in a different state, they can still contact you, still have you assist them with all those things of reviewing records, getting in with doctors, filling out the paperwork with the VA. All that stuff can happen regardless of where they live.
Regardless of where they live, yes.
Wow. Okay.
No different.
Okay, that's great. And in terms of the actual disability work, What is one of the biggest challenges that you're seeing veterans face when they present a disability claim to the VA?
You know, a lot of it, and I think back to one of our cases, is a lot of it seems to be a service connection type thing. If you get hurt in service, and a lot of these guys are, no, I'm too tough, I'm not going to the doctor, so they don't go to the doctor. So the service connection's not clear as day. And it's the challenge is to go through these records, and sometimes you're going through years of records. Like I said, this one case, we had to go all the way back to 1962 to find one medical record that had 3 little lines of hard to read doctor writing to see that he was assaulted and he did go. And that connected, that was the big piece of the puzzle, that was the last piece of the puzzle. So challenge of that is showing the VA that there was a connection between his service and his disability. That seems to be the biggest challenge of it all. Because, you know, if I stub my toe, I don't go to the doctor, you know, and some of these people, it's not a huge incident, like my leg was blown off, that's obviously right there, but it's just taking the time and being able to decipher through all those medical records or through all of the service records to find what you need.
Well, in fact, veterans, I mean, while they're service members, I mean, they're trained to put aside the injuries and to focus on their duty and not focus upon their own particular problem, right?
Correct. And a lot of them will come in and tell us that exactly. No way. You go to the hospital, you're deemed a wimp, and they say other things, but we can't, we don't do that. You tough it out, because I don't want to be known as the wimp. I didn't want to be known as this or that. So a lot of the times you've got to be creative about trying to find that information, just that one little key piece that's going to help you.
Now, have you personally been to any hearings for VA disability benefits?
I have. I have.
Tell the audience a little bit about what happens at a disability hearing.
A disability hearing is a lot different than what you would think of any kind of hearing. You go into an office with the DRO, who's the decision review officer, and the attorney sits down, and the attorney has everything prepared. He has it laid out. He has the service connection, the diagnosis, the medical, everything that veteran needs. And they go through the process of basically kind of, introductions with the vet, and the vet's always there. And the vet's always free to talk. And the attorney just presents his information. He says, here's the stuff. Here's the service connection. Well, you missed, here's the medical records. And it's basically the attorney just being an advocate for that this vet. Because a lot of the time, a lot of our clients have the PTSD. And they don't like being in small closed rooms. They don't like being put on the spot. And that's where the advocate comes in. That's where the lawyer comes in to basically, say, you just sit here. I will fight for you. And that's what it is. And the DROs are so helpful, and their job is to try to find that connection to help them get the disability. But again, it's the attorney's job. He basically paints the big sign and says, look, he deserves to get this.
And so have you had a chance to go to regular court hearings also?
I have.
So what's the difference between a regular court hearing and the kind of hearing you're seeing at the VA?
Well, I think half of our clients wouldn't survive a regular court hearing. This is it's formal, but it's more of an informal feeling, because everybody's trying, everybody wants to help the vet, as to where it's so formal and text by the book in a regular hearing, that a regular hearing you don't get to play emotions, and in these DROs you play on the emotions. You really try to get everybody on the same page of just, we need to help this vet. And so it's a lot more, like I said, again, it goes back to it's a lot more rewarding to work with the veterans through start to finish as it is in the other realms of law. Sure.
And we're about ready to wrap up here, Corby, but before we do, can you go ahead and tell the audience what's something you would want to leave to our viewers and the veterans that are listening? What's one piece of advice you can leave for them?
Don't ever think your case is hopeless, because bring it to the Justice Legal Group or to Lawyers Helping Warriors, and we're going to find that hope for you. If it's there, we'll get it for you. But don't give up. I know it's a long, drawn-out process, but in the end, you're going to get what you're entitled to, what you deserve, what you have fought for. And so it's easier to let us fight for you. As I tell my guys, it's time for you to stop worrying and let us do that. But just to give them hope. Then.
Great. And if our viewers want to contact you to ask you further questions, can you tell them what do they need to do in order to reach you?
They just need to call Justice Legal Group, 880-8737, and ask for Corby, and they'll be more than happy to get you to me.
And do you have an email you'd like to share?
Sure, it's corbyp@justicelegalgroup.com.
And is there a particular website you'd also like to share?
I do, lawyershelpingwarriors.com.
That's lawyershelpingwarriors.com.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we would like to say thank you to our special guest today, Corby Pucket. And if you know somebody who would like to give information to our veterans community, please contact me, David Standridge, and you can do so by emailing me at info@justicelegalgroup.com. And we hope to have special guests on our show all the time that we can give out valuable information, pieces of information to the veterans community to help assist them with their disability claims and other issues that the veterans may be facing. And so with that, we'd like to say thank you for joining us today on Justice for Veterans Show. We're honored that you chose to spend your time with us. We want to thank again our special guest, Corby Pucket, who works specifically in the area of veterans' disability benefits. And we appreciate her being on here. You don't want to miss our next show, where we'll have another special guest who specifically works with veterans' disability benefits. And as we say goodbye, we'd like to say thank you to all the service men and women who have bravely served our country and all of us. We know that we can't do anything except for the price that you paid on our behalf. And without you, we could not do what we do, and we could not have the show that we have. And so if you have any questions about any of the information that's been presented on today's show, feel free to call me at 505-880-8737 or email me at info@justicelegalgroup.com. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Justice for Veterans. A special thanks to the Ronald Reagan Foundation, the Justice Legal Group, and the veterans who have made this show possible. Tune in next week for a new episode of Justice for Veterans.